What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another edition of Gen Sports Corner, back at you for September 4th, 2020. Got a couple things I'm going to talk about on this docket real quick. It's been a little minute, maybe like 2 weeks now. So let's talk about what's going on. First and foremost, I'm going to get into the Flyers and their big win last night to tie the series up, force a game 7, and try to come back and take this series from the Islanders. Second up, the Philadelphia Phillies are on freaking fire. Then third, we're going to get into the Sixers and the updated news on their coaching search. Some big rumors flying around today that I was reading about, as well as the Nets making a coaching hire for their team. So let me go ahead and get into these Flyers real quick. Yo, we were down 3-2. They thought we were dead in the water. Yo, bang bang, they thought it was over. But you know what? Ivan Provorov said, I don't think so. Came out with a sniper shot in overtime to get us that dub. Big shot, big balls in the clutch, made it happen. Man, last night's game was crazy. It was crazy. We started out, jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Got Kevin Hayes and then JVR coming out with 2 goals right off the rip. And then we give up a goal in the first period. Okay, we up 2-1 after one. Then we go into the second period and we proceed to give up the lead. And then I blink my eyes and we're down 3-2. Like, what? Down 3-2. We were just up to 2-1. And then we're down 3-2. And then the third period, Michael Raffle comes out, scoring on Chris. I'm gonna talk about your Nets too, because y'all got y'all coach. I'm a say who y'all got once I get through these Flyers and these Phillies real quick. Don't worry. How you been though? Yeah. So you had Michael Raffle coming around with the wraparound goal to tie it back up at 3-3, and then you allowed Islanders to come back and respond, which they have had a knack for doing in this series. They come back and take the lead back, just snatch it back 4-3. And then, fortunately, in that third period, the Islanders have a really bad turnover near center ice. Clogereau chips out a pass through center ice to Scotty Lawton, who all of a sudden is able to break through two Islanders defenders and has a one-on-one with their goalie, who's been magical this series. And does he freeze up? Nah, he straight up undresses this dude, got that goalie on skates, he did him grimy, dog. He did him grimy as hell. Tied it back up to at 4 with a nasty deke. Went right, slid the puck back to the left. Yo, undressed that dude, man. Pause. Yeah, so tied it up 4-4, and then we go into overtime, and it's just a physical game. That first overtime, they're going back and forth. They're getting shots on goal. They're getting shots on goal, dog. That's been the story of this series. Here's a number for you guys: 53-31. What do you think that stands for? You know what? I'll tell you what that stands for. That stands for 53 shots on goal by the Islanders to our 31 shots on goal in this game for the Flyers. That disparity is freaking ridiculous. And the gap wasn't even that close earlier in the game. We just got a lot more shots on goal, fortunately, in the second overtime to be able to close that gap to a 22 shot deficit and then be able to get that winning goal. But that shit got to change in Game 7. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's like if you look at a basketball game and you see the other team taking 20 3-point attempts compared to your 10 3-point attempts. It's like you can't have that type of disparity, because even if they only make 50% of their 3-pointers and you make 100% of your 3-pointers, you're still tied in the amount of 3-pointers you've made, right? You can't allow that type of volume to happen against you. Like, where's the defense at? So the Flyers got to fix that. But fortunately, Ivan Provorov was able to score an overtime goal on a beautiful pass from Kevin Hayes. The Islanders defender, he went for a slap shot against Carter Hart, and he broke his stick. And Kevin Hayes was able to get control of the puck, take it up ice, and swing a pass back around to Provorov, and he did the rest. So congratulations, boys. Good job for getting it done. We're going to a Game 7, and we're going to get this dub, man. We're going to get this dub. This is a test of the wills. You have to reach down and really see how much intestinal fortitude you got and make it happen. Dig deep, bring out that greatness. I think we'll get it done. Let me know what you guys think. For those of you that are into hockey, what you guys think of that game 6 between the Flyers and the New York Islanders. That being said, second up on my list, I'm almost to basketball. I'm going to get there. Second on my list are the Philadelphia Phillies, who are playing right now on my TV. That's a commercial. But the Phillies have been on fire. They've won 9 of their last 10. Bryce Harper absolutely on fire. JT Realmuto on fire. Pay that man. Hashtag pay that man. Give him that money, man, because the OPS is crazy. He hitting home runs. He putting up RBIs. Got a cannon of an arm behind plate. What more do you want? You know what I mean? And then you got Didi Gregorius, dude, one of the best pickups that we've had in a while. They're going to have to extend his contract after the season, man, because he is playing out of his mind right now. Reese Hoskins starting to pick it up. That Phillies offense has been hot all year. And now with the trades that the Phillies made before the deadline, getting the 2 relievers from the Red Sox, including Hembry, getting Hale from the Yankees, I believe, who used to play for the Yankees. And then they picked up David Phelps from, I can't remember which team it's from, but they picked him up. He's a big-time arm added to their pen. And now, maybe instead of giving up 10 runs in the 7th inning, maybe they're only giving up 1 run in the 7th inning. Either way, that is more than enough support from the bullpen for this offense to go out and get these wins, which they have been doing. They have been doing that. We're 18-15 right now, people. Think about that. We were looking kind of sloppy out there. Your boys is looking kind of sloppy, but they turning it up now in that bullpen, and we're getting it done. So we're up 1-0 right now against the Mets in the top of the 3rd. Let's keep this thing up and get another dub, because we were right in that playoff race. And with this offense, all of a sudden, with a better bullpen, we might be contenders. So I'll keep you guys updated on that as we move forward. And then lastly, Chris, what I know you came here for, let's get into basketball. I'm going to start out with your Nets, sir, because as you know by now, you guys hired a coach. Who they hired, when you ask? Well, they hired a man by the name, just somebody you might have heard of, Steve Nash, to be their new head coach. Now, I've seen Steve Nash as a player, phenomenal point guard, great three-point shot, great handles, just great basketball IQ. Will that translate to the coaching realm? I don't know. But he's always seemed like a pretty good coach on the court, like as a player. Like he just had that IQ to be able to dissect what was going on in the moment and make the best decision as a point guard. And I think that he has great vision as a player, and maybe that will translate over as a coach. I know that it worked for Jason Kidd. Now, I mean, Jason Kidd has his other issues, but as a coach, I thought he was a good coach, and he had a high basketball IQ as a point guard. You're talking about a high-level player. So we'll see. I'm curious to see how that turns out for the Nets, because you have Steve Nash, who's obviously out. If he's not a Hall of Famer already, he's a future Hall of Famer, and he's going to have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, Levert, and then you have Allen, one of their centers. They have some pieces. They have a squad over there. So if they keep that squad intact this next year coming up, they might be able to do some things. And I'm curious to see how Steve Nash is going to add to that from an X's and O's standpoint. And then, branching off of that, the Sixers. Brett Brown here for 7 years, through the process, went through all those really tough years, went through the Sam Hinkie years, went through the Brian Colangelo year and a half-ish, 2 years, and all the way through the Elton Brand era that we're currently in. And he's gone now. He added a lot of value to this team, and was really, in my opinion, pivotal to their growth from the ashes from which they rose. But that being said, he had a lot of deficiencies in his game as a coach, and we saw those bear out in the last couple years in the playoffs. We just seen times where he got out-coached, or he looked like he wasn't able to adjust in real time. I mean, as an Eagles fan, that was always a big criticism of Andy Reid. Now, Andy over time has fixed that, and we've seen that with obviously the Super Bowl that he just won with KC. But in the same sense that as Andy had that problem with the Eagles, Brett Brown, even though he didn't get to the NBA Finals, he showed similar deficiencies in his game where he just couldn't adjust in real time. And at least to me, the crescendo or the or the representation of that frustration came in that Miami Heat game earlier this year, where the Miami Heat played a zone. I don't remember if it was 2-3 or 3-2, whatever. They played a zone for 3 quarters, and it took or 4 quarters, and it took Brett Brown and that Sixers team 3.5 quarters, midway through the third quarter, to even make the adjustment. And they started picking them apart after that point, and we ended up losing the game. But had we made the adjustment early in the second quarter, we could have won that game easily. But it's just like that is the perfect example of the lack of sharpness and the turnovers. They have always been a problem. To have that much talent and just have an asinine, just a ridiculous amount of turnovers, unforced turnovers. You have to give the Celtics credit. They force turnovers by playing smart, being a cohesive unit, and forcing you to play faster than you want to. But a lot of those turnovers from the Sixers, outside of what Boston did, was on the Sixers. Errant passes, being lazy, not turning your head before you pass the ball, and looking to see if Jaylen Brown's going to be in the passing lane. That's not Jaylen Brown being exceptional. That's just Jaylen Brown doing his job and you being lazy and causing the turnover over because of it. At a certain point, it stops being about the players and you have to look at the coach and the higher ups. Are you not drilling this into the player's head? Do they not respect you? Is the message not getting through? Any way you slice it, at a certain point, it goes back to the head coach. And unfortunately, it just seemed like it was time to move on. And I was just reading some articles today, and it popped up on my news feed on the WIP 94.1 WIP. There's rumors circulating around, I think from John Johnson, that stated that the Sixers are close to negotiating a deal with Tyronne Lue. Tyronne Lue. That's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. I really need to research Tyronne Lue because I don't really know enough about his X's and O's during his time with the Cavaliers and their championship run, obviously with Kyrie and LeBron and whatnot. So I don't know. I know always know he's been a solid X's and O's coach, and in my opinion, he was a solid defensive player during his time in the league. But it's usually those type of players, the guys that aren't like super great, but they're good players that just understand the little ins and outs and tricks of the trades that you need to know to really maximize their talent. Those seem to be the guys that make the really exceptional coaches. So as I'm reading right here, the Philadelphia 76ers are finalizing a deal with Tyronne Lue to become the next head coach, according to 94 WIP's John Johnson. Johnson did clarify that no deal is done yet, but both sides are communicating. Very interesting. Earlier today, as I mentioned, the Nets hired Steve Nash as their head coach. And on Wednesday, Jay Wright, whose name was circulating in the rumors for the Sixers job, he's currently the head coach of Villanova and probably will be for a long time. He took his name out of the running and announced he wasn't a candidate. Which, hey, I can dream. I would have loved to have Jay Wright as a coach for the Sixers, but I need to read more into it, but I would be cool with that move for Tyronne Lue. He's, at the very least, he has had to manage personalities, and not just personalities, but some of the biggest personalities in basketball on the highest stage. Being up in LeBron James's grill during, I think it was Game 6 of that finals against Golden State, and he's like, LeBron, I need you to do more. And LeBron's like, what more you need me to do? And he's like, yo, I need you to be locked in defense, blah, blah, blah. Like, to be able to talk to that caliber of player on that stage in the NBA Finals in a critical game, he obviously knows how to manage personalities and be able to command the respect of the room. Now, there's always memes and videos on YouTube's like making fun of Tyronne Lue, or like saying that, oh, LeBron's the head coach. Everybody knows that. You go in the locker room, LeBron's like, man, everybody shut up. You too, Tyron. Like, I don't I don't think that's the way it actually happened. I think that Tyronne Lue actually commanded a certain level of respect, and I think that's why that team was able to win that year, because he and then secondly, LeBron James was able to galvanize that unit of guys, um, that didn't necessarily, outside of Kyrie Irving, didn't necessarily have the talent to get it done on a high level. They brought the best out of all those players. So we'll see. I'm going to read more into it and see what he's done in his coaching career, so I can give a more informed opinion. But I've seen him a few of those Cavalier games when he was on the sidelines, and he looked like he had a good command of the flow of the game. So I'd be okay with it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me check out these comments real quick. I know Ryan mentioned with the Flyers, Carter Hart is the MVP of that game, 49 saves. Bro, listen, 49 saves, incredible, man. I agree, man. That was absolutely phenomenal what he was able to do with all the shots that were on goal. Dude, 49 saves with 53 shots on goal. That's crazy, man. You're getting that many shots on goal, and you only give up 4 goals. Now, I'm not saying that. Look, you're getting that many shots on goal. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Um, I was highly. I'm still hyped about that. I'll be back on tomorrow prior to the Flyers game, just pre-gaming it with y'all, getting ready for this last game. If you don't care about hockey, that's fine. If you do, man, join into the fun, join the festivities with me, because look, I'm a 4-for-4 guy. Flyers, Sixers, Phillies, Eagles, any of them playing, any of them in the playoffs, going for a championship in a sport, I'm die hard. Like I'm on the edge of my seat, ready to jump through the screen. So let's get it, boys. That being said, that's it for this episode. If there's other things you want to hear me talk about, make sure you leave it in the comments, either right now or after this live feed is done, and I'll try to talk about them. Yeah, that's it for now. Make sure you check out a new single that I just dropped. Well, not my single, but single that I'm on. Black Angel dropped a joint First Person featuring Jaleel Love, myself, and Stevie Franks. Make sure you check that out on Spotify. That's on iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal, everywhere, every major streaming platform for music you can find it on. And you can go to my page on Facebook, and I'll have a link up there for that as well. So, as always, thanks for tuning in. Be blessed, stay safe, and enjoy your Labor Day weekend, man. Relax, people. As always, love y'all. Peace.